So, welcome to another video. I hope you enjoyed that little Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk TV show clip I put together at the beginning. Well, it's not about a TV show, I just thought I did that because I really liked that beginning intro. When I was a kid, that actually scared me a little bit. Anyway, as you can see here, we're talking Geeky Self. We're going to talk about Incredible Hulk. And the title is The Incredible Hulks with the S, of course. We're going to talk about the many versions of the Hulk. And if anybody watched my comic book video I did a week ago or so, I did mention the Hulk is one of my favorite, if not my number one. I don't want to call him a superhero. I don't think he's really a superhero. I'll say a comic character. He's definitely ranked up there in Marvel for me. And we're going to talk about the many versions of the Hulk. The Incredible Hulk was actually grey back in 1962. It was actually different than he is now, of course. And this is due to the ease of colouring decisions. So he was actually grey at the beginning. So let's move on. So I took some snippets of all the Hulks. I think there's probably a few more, but just to squeeze it in these 2 pages. Yeah, so I'll talk about the Hulks. So Hulk is actually among probably one of Marvel's greatest creations, and probably one of the most well-known characters as well. I think a lot of people do like the Hulk. Hulk may not be like everyone's favorite. You've got the Spider-Man, you've got the Wolverine, you've got the Batman, for example, right? But I think Hulk is like, how do you say it? It's like everyone's sort of second best, or everybody likes the Hulk. When he's on, like the Marvel MCU film, people love seeing him because a big CGI character, funny character, strong, fighting. I think everybody just likes that. But to me, it's a bit more deeper than that. Not just because he's strong, big, aggressive. I think out of all the comic book characters, including like DC and so on, I like the reason why he resonates with me because he's very misunderstood. And I mean, look at how many times has he fought Avengers? I mean, they tried to send him in space many times. Doctor Strange even sent him to a different dimension. They never really trusted him in Avengers because he could lose control. Then, of course, when he came back from space, he started that awesome run called World War Hulk. But before we go into any bit more, let's talk about some of the versions of Hulk. Of course, he started off grey because of the colouring decision. Then a few issues later, he came green. They didn't change him from his personality, just changed the colour. Then, of course, he's known for being green afterwards. Then you get that kind of the Savage Hulk, or some people call him the Rampaging Hulk. He's the one that I think everyone kind of recognized Hulk with, kind of like the strong one, soft, misunderstood, Rampaging Hulk sort of. That's what I think everybody kind of recognized the most. And then one of my favorite ones, when he went berserk, become the mindless Hulk. I think that time when they ripped Bruce Banner out of the Hulk, right? He went mad because Bruce Banner was inside the Hulk. That's what kept the Hulk from being a true villain, killing people, right? He was having Banner inside him, some sort of controlling the core of the Hulk. So once they took Banner out, he became mindless. The stronger the angry he becomes, the stronger he got. He took on Avengers West Coast, and then of course even Alpha Flight. He destroyed Alpha Flight, and Doctor Strange they had to send him to a different dimension. And of course, in a dimension, he wreaked havoc and had to send him back to Earth. And then, of course, after that, what happened? I think for a little bit, he went back to Savage Hulk. I may be getting the timelines wrong here. And of course, then he came back to the Grey Hulk. Then he had like a little multiple person disorder. They become Mr. Fix-It for a little while. And I remember that issue where Dr. Sampson was doing therapy with Bruce Banner, and inside his mind, you see your Grey Hulk versus the rampaging Hulk or Savage Hulk, and they're fighting. I remember there's an issue when the Hulk was fighting, and then he ripped out of his skin. I remember that one. That was a really good issue. Then of course, then they come to a like agreement, green and grey, and then they kind of merge and they become the Professor Hulk. Where he kept his brains, but he also had the muscles and the strength of the Hulk. That was a pretty good run as well. I like that when Dale Kuhn and Gary Frank was artists. They made the Hulk really good, looking in the full size. And Peter David, really, really a good run as well. Established a lot of characters like Betty and Rick, all of these characters around him. Then, of course, let's not think about the little bit. There was a little thing where he become War Hulk, where he become like Apocalypse, one of the Apocalypse horsemen. That didn't really last long. That was pretty fun though. And then let's not talk about the when they sent him to space to a different planet Hulk, become like a gladiator. And then of course he got married on that planet, and then on the spaceship there's like a nuclear bomb or something like that, and he blew up and he killed his wife there. He thought his wife died. Well, his wife did die, and his son died. And then of course he become even crazier, and of course he set off back to Earth to get revenge, and which he become like World War Hulk. And there was and of course he had fought everyone, Avengers, X-Men, and there's a great episode or issue when he fought against Sentry. Even before that, he took on Black Bolt, because Black Bolt in the comic is very powerful, and of course he I think Hulk always kind of struggled with characters like Black Bolt, Sentry, Thor, characters like that. Of course he come back, like Goku, on a planet when he become the Gladiator, he kind of fighting so much, he kind of leveled up, become Super Saiyan. This time he went and then when he fought against Sentry, he become like the World Breaker Hulk. I think that's one of the strongest, if not the strongest version of the Hulk. Then you have other versions like Maestro, the future Hulk is always great. Immortal Hulk, the ultimate version of Hulk. They kind of got the grey version, but kind of mixed it with the Savage Hulk. I remember reading an issue of Ultimate when he ripped Wolverine in half. That was fun. Then you got the Great Red Hulk. Red Hulk is not Bruce Banner, by the way. It's Thunderbolt Ross. And then on the top right, you see the Hulk with a mohawk. It's Doc Green. Is it Doc Green? Yeah, Doc Green. So there's so many versions of Hulk, and so that's why when someone say, who's stronger, Doomsday or Hulk, or could the Hulk beat Thor? You have to really go down to which version you're fighting against. I mean, if you know Thor is one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe, right? So if Thor's facing the Hulk, he can probably beat most of the Hulks up. The only Hulk that I would say that probably beat Thor is World Breaker Hulk. And World Breaker Hulk, Planet Hulk, and probably Savage Hulk. Savage Hulk and Thor is kind of pretty evenly matched. But I would say definitely World Breaker Hulk can beat Thor. And Planet Hulk will probably do as well. The rest will probably come close. Probably evens. Mindless Hulk can probably handle Thor as well. But one thing about Hulk I do like is, he ranges from, depending who's artist, 7 foot to 9 foot. Not like the Ang Lee one when he kind of got 15 foot. That's a bit too big. I would say the right size is probably about 9 foot. The the Hulk on the MCU, the first MCU one. I think that's the right size. And what's so good about him is like, for a big character weighing a few tons, he moves like a lightweight. He runs fast. He can leap like about 6 leaps. He goes leaps around the world. I mean, the Thing can't do that. Other big characters can't do that. So that's what makes Hulk so unique. Is because, of course, we all know the angry he gets, the strong he gets. But he also, and now, his combination, not just strength and the more he fights, the stronger he gets. But he's also got the added bonus of having Bruce Banner, the intelligence as well. So yeah, that concludes my little rambling on about Incredible Hulk, why he's one of my favourites, and just generally talking about the different versions of Hulk. Before I go, just thought about something. So with the movies, start from the TV shows, the cartoons, and everything, all not good for its time. Then Ang Lee's one, the funny thing, I actually enjoyed that at first, but of course, watched it the second time, third time, you realise it wasn't that good. He's alright, I suppose. Then, of course, I liked the Edward Norton version. I thought the Hulk was good. And I still think Edward Norton was actually my preferred Bruce Banner, to be honest with you. Don't get me wrong, I think Mark Ruffalo is good. But I think the problem is it's like, so you get the 2008 Hulk. I thought he looked good. He looked really like the Dale Kuhn version of Hulk. Strong, powerful, misunderstood character, right? And then of course you got him in the Avengers, more like the savage, rampaging Hulk. Great, about 9 foot again. Kind of gave him more of a kind of rounded face, where the Edward Norton one was more chiseled chin, I'll say. And then I thought, yeah, good. Mark Ruffalo did a decent job. I liked the Hulk in Avengers. I liked the Hulk in Age of Ultron. I thought it was really good. And then I found out what happened. Slowly, it kind of went down a bit because he was in the 4 movies. Because I felt like they dumped the Hulk down a bit. They really dumped him down a bit. And then, of course, in the Avengers, when he got his ass kicked in by Thanos, which is fine because Thanos he's that tough, But I would love to have seen him kind of get one back on Thanos, and maybe introduce the Professor Hulk later on. I would have loved to see maybe a kind of more of a savage return in maybe the end game, like a final confrontation with Thanos. And even though Thanos will still win, but kind of the Hulk kind of injures him, and maybe instead of like Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor, maybe like 4 against Thanos, and Hulk really injures Thanos and gives them a chance. I would love to have seen that. And then maybe the next kind of Avengers, or maybe the next Marvel MCU movie, which has a Hulk in it, maybe they can kind of talk about the merge, where he becomes Professor Hulk. I think there's a good story to tell in that. They could have done that. I think it would have been a good kind of story to really tell, because you can really focus on the traumas that Bruce Banner had, why he has these kind of schizophrenic or maybe multiple person disorder, and how he become the Professor Hulk. I think that could have been a good story that could have told separately, instead of in Endgame suddenly he appears as Professor Hulk. I thought that was wasted myself. But apart from that, MCU has been more successful with the Hulk, in my opinion, than unsuccessful. Just that Professor Hulk could have been done a lot better. Maybe, like I said, could have been a separate, contained story on his own. Anyway, thank you for listening. Let me know which one's your favourite Incredible Hulk. Like I said, I have a soft spot for Savage Hulk and the Professor Hulk in the comics, and of course, Worldbreaker Hulk. Those are my 3 favourites. Anyway, let me know which one's your favourite Hulk. And do you agree with me that the films, they kind of dumbed it down a little bit? let me know. Anyway, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. And please stay safe. Goodbye.